thank you both for joining me today to share your experience on becoming a Kare Plus franchisee and your experience so far to date. I'm really intrigued to know what you both did before you became franchise owners. So Ricky, if you could start, what was it you did? What was your line of work?
So I've got quite a lot of experience through BDM, predominantly sales. But directly prior to opening the franchise, I was working at Santander as a case handler. So, but it was basically sales I have done for about 10 years prior to coming on board with you guys.
Fantastic. And in regards to yourself, Icky, what was your line of work?
So yeah, my background's predominantly sales and management. I started in the estate agency, worked my way up to kind of management level, went over to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, their graduate scheme, worked my way up to kind of managerial level. Then I was called back by the estate agency I used to work for as a regional manager. Then I was doing a business development manager's role for about a year for one of the biggest property awards companies in the world. And then we kind of looked into this venture from there on.
And I think it's really interesting to note that both of you have got no healthcare experience whatsoever in your career histories, but you've both got quite a lot of sales experience, which does intrigue. What inspired you to want to get into the healthcare sector? Because it was a complete 360 change for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very different.
Well, I had been looking through franchises. I kind of like wanted to go into a franchise to get help in a lot of areas that I didn't really have any experience of. I have been in recruitment before, so I thought I could put my skills to use with a franchise like Kare Plus. But why I decided to have the healthcare sector, I just feel it's quite a rewarding sector to be part of. I did have a grandmother who was in care at the time when I actually was looking at franchises that I did want to start up. And I just thought there was a big opportunity to do something very rewarding, which is kind of why I chose the sector. I just thought if I brought my skills over that I've had from recruitment and sales and BDM and stuff, I thought it was a very good match.
So would you say, Icky, that was fair for yourself as well, that you were looking to get into it because of how rewarding it can be and to have the ability to make a positive difference to people's lives, essentially? Would you say that's a fair reflection for you, or did you have any other reasons?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's obviously, you want to work in the type of industry and you want to do the type of job on a day-to-day basis. It's, in a sense, going to contribute back to society. And you want that feel-good factor. You don't want to feel like, you know, you're selling something to someone or ripping someone off, and, you know, because you do think how that can have a knock-on effect to somebody else's life. And it's just very positive, isn't it? It's just a very positive thing to do.
And you mentioned, Ricky, during your overview, while you wanted to get into the healthcare sector, that you knew that a franchise partner was the way that you wanted to proceed into that sector. Why was it so important to you? What made a franchise partner stand out as the way to get into the sector?
I believe just as I had no experience in the private healthcare sector, that I know there's a lot of compliance behind everything, and it's ongoingly changing constantly. And I just think that having somebody on board behind you at all times that can keep you up to date with the changes, and also I know you guys kind of like do trial and errors with different types of care that you carry on providing. I just thought it's great to have somebody there that can direct us in a way of the way that the way the care industry is going, and also to make sure that we are compliant at all times. Because obviously we've also seen a lot on the news about type of like care homes and care staff and kind of like big problems that they've encountered, and we just wanted to have a franchise behind us to basically keep us in the right direction, to basically make sure that that doesn't happen with us.
Would you say that's the same for you then, Icky? Obviously, having the guidance of the franchisor, keeping you on track and supporting you as you develop into the sector. Would you say that was also the same for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. It would just be very difficult if I was to open up my own care agency without the background, the knowledge, the legislation, just the regulations in general. Like with being part of Kare Plus, you do get that. You kind of get it on a plate. You know what exactly you have to do, what's right, what's wrong. Like you can pick up the phone to anybody and just ask the question if you don't know the answer to it, and you'll get the answer.
And did you look at any other franchisors before you decided upon Kare Plus?
Yeah, I had a look at a few. Actually went into quite a lot of detail with a few franchises in the same sector. The thing that stood out about Kare Plus for me is the team behind the scene, is the franchises itself, at the head office, the amount of people there, the amount of help that you can receive. But also, I think what was a big factor was the vast amount of care that you do provide. You cover like basically all sectors. These aren't limited at all. There's quite a few other agencies that I did look at that were very limited in basically the services that they do offer. So a lot of them were just home care only, or some were just like live-in care and stuff. And I just think that if you've got a lot of areas that you can go into, obviously there's a lot of different revenues to approach. I didn't want to feel limited in any way that I felt like I was with other agencies.
And I think that leads me quite nicely on to my next question, to be honest, because you've mentioned there that the scope of development that was available to you within the franchise was vastly important. So would you say that was one of the reasons why you wanted to join Kare Plus?
Yeah, I believe so. Obviously, you have like company-run businesses as well. And I like the way that when for example, with live-in care, is kind of like take that, put it in your own company-run businesses first, do like trial and error, see where there's any hiccups, and see how you can make it as a smooth process as possible for everybody else. And I just think like covering a lot of different types of services, obviously different areas will benefit from certain things more than other areas. And I just think that because we're up in the northeast, there might be something that works better for us than it does down south. However, there's such a wide variety of services, something will most likely work for us.
Naturally, you've both mentioned that the support that is provided to you from the franchise was of the utmost importance, and that's why you've joined our network. How critical was the support that we offered to you so far in your journey?
Yeah, well, obviously we have been postponed due to COVID. So we are basically still getting set up really, but we have been making some calls to staff and doing some BDM and stuff. I think it's just been very important to have people behind you. At the moment, we had been dealing a lot with Jenny. She's been fantastic in getting everything set up in terms of the admin. But like we say, if it wasn't for having you guys behind us, we wouldn't really know where to start. We didn't really know where to begin, but just having like a huge checklist and having somebody on your back to help you out if you're having any difficulty getting in contact with any suppliers, or just getting IT set up and all the niggly bits that always comes with stuff like IT. It's just been fantastic to have a team behind you to help you get to where you are. We've always got a question at the moment, obviously with us just starting off. So we're constantly on the phone to different people in the head office. But also what's been really good is we actually have been contacting other franchisees just to see how they run things and what type of impact COVID's had on them. And it's just great. It feels like a family that you are part of.
And so what would you say to somebody then who is sitting on the fence about having a Kare Plus franchise? What would be your words of advice?
I would say just to get in touch and compare you guys with other agencies that they might be thinking about going with, or just to, if they are thinking about going alone, just to see the type of like establishment that they would have behind them by going with Kare Plus. It's such a huge team, from everybody in compliance to support to like helping with national contracts like yourself. It is a big team, and the support is like, it's really like what could make or break your business, to be honest. Feel much confident going with a franchise, and even more confident going with a franchise like Kare Plus.